Hey everybody, my name's Katie and today I'm back with another video. And today I just want to walk you guys through the 5 stages of emotions that I felt after and when I was going through my whole New Age to Jesus process. So if you haven't watched my other video, I'm a former Akashic Records reader, Reiki practitioner, and really just had my whole life centered around New Age practices. And if I'm being quite honest with you, what I went through during and after, and even still, this transition was super traumatic, and a a ton of emotions went through me. I felt like my entire identity and what I had known as truth was just ripped away. And in a way it felt like one of the biggest heartbreaks ever. And so my goal for you guys is just to really provide you with some content that is more than just my testimony. I want to help you navigate through the emotions that come with finding out that all the New Age practices are a deception. And I want to help you feel really seen and give you this info in a way that serves God, helps you to know Jesus even more, and really just helps you to get through this process, because I found that I was finding a ton of testimony videos, but I was having a really hard time finding support with how to deal with, okay, like you had the realization, but like what now? Like, how did you just get through it? And I felt like a lot of testimonial videos made it seem like it was just like a light switch for them of, okay, now I was in the New Age and then I was a Christian, and like I couldn't really tell, like, okay, well, how did you get there from here to there? And so I just want to provide you with some insight on what I went through. So stage number 1, my first emotion that I went through was resistance and total denial that this was the truth, that all the New Age stuff was a lie, and that Christianity and Jesus is king. So the first New Age to Jesus video I ever saw, I watched about half of it a year ago. I didn't even get through the whole video. This was when I was deep into my spiritual practices. And I just remember thinking, this is a bunch of BS. Like, I don't buy this. All these people are just, going off their own way. So I was just in total denial. And this was a year ago. And if you're in this stage, just know that the New Age equips you, and your mind is trained with New Age practices to teach you all the reasons why you should deny Jesus. Or they even take Jesus and put them into their own little mold of what he is, to detract from what God has taught us about Jesus. The devil will actually use Jesus' name and try to distract you still. So when I saw my first New Age Jesus video, I was just like, nah. And a whole year went by before I came around to another one. So recently, when I found the New Age to Jesus videos, this time I was still feeling resistant on when I watched my first video, but I was open. And I think that's the difference between where I was a year ago and where I am now, is that now when I started doing research, I was so much more open to being wrong, or to, just being educated. Whereas last year, you couldn't have convinced me if you would have shown me all the evidence. I would have been like, no, you're wrong. And just be aware that all of these things that the New Age teaches you, like thinking that someone's a low vibration, or that they didn't step up into their self-worth, and that's why they're falling back into maybe your old religion, things like that. Just be aware that these thoughts might come up for you when you're watching these videos, and that's New Age programming to keep you from being able to hear this stuff. The devil really wants our ears to be clogged and shut, because then he knows that when someone's trying to tell us the truth about Jesus, that we won't hear it. And so during this first stage, there's a heavy chance that your ear is going to be clogged with new age blah. So I just encourage you to, when you start to watch these videos, if you're watching this video, you probably already have seen a lot, but I just encourage you to go in with an open mind, because the Bible talks about, like, if you try to teach to people who aren't willing to listen, it's just going to fall on deaf ears. So it's really Jesus's job to plant the seed in you to get curious enough to even look at these videos. And then once that curiosity is put in you and you start seeing everything, it's just, for me, it was just such a shock that I, even after seeing the first videos, or this most recent time where I was watching like video after video after video, I still, for a whole day, I put away YouTube, deleted the app on my phone for a day after discovering these videos, and for that whole next day I was in complete denial still. I was like, it's not true. Like, all this stuff is wrong. Whew. So that's the first emotion, denial and resistance. The second emotion is being in total shock and feeling a whole lot of fear. So once you start to accept these things as truth, for me, it felt like almost like in a horror movie when the record screeches to a stop and it's like, I don't know if you guys know what sound I'm talking about, but it's like, just like almost like a ringing in your ears where you're like, oh my God, like, what have I been doing? And the fear comes with all these people that have been doing the same things as you, talking about demonic attack, talking about spiritual attacks, and you realize that all these times when you were just meaning to maybe have fun with your tarot cards or connect with your spirit guides, which you were told were completely safe, you were actually opening yourself up to some really, 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 really scary stuff. And for me, that was a huge shock. Another big shock point for me was the fact that I had spent so much time going down these rabbit holes, so much time invested into friendships based around this stuff. I was like, my friends, like, all my relationships, my social media was completely built around all this stuff. I had a podcast around all this stuff. I was spending hours a day training myself in this stuff. I thought this was my future. I thought the New Age was my future. And so as much relief comes with like being saved out of it, because you're like, oh my gosh, what if I would have never realized? There's so much shock that comes with just having all that stuff ripped away. And then for me, I started noticing just New Age stuff infused into pop culture, art all around me. Looking at people's shirts, I could see it. Murals in downtown Denver, I could see it, where I was just like, oh my God, like, this whole culture is deceived. Everyone is deceived, other than like this group of people over here who like know about Jesus. And I was in a brand new job when I first figured this out. I'm actually not even at that job anymore. But I was in a brand new job and I was trying to like learn this like everyday human job while balancing this huge identity crisis that I was going through. And so the first couple days were just that shock that everything that I'd been into wasn't real, and then that huge amount of fear that comes then with realizing, holy crap, I've been walking people hand in hand to this path, and all my friends don't know Jesus, like some of my family doesn't. And so immediately I felt like, oh my gosh, like, I need all these people to be saved. Like, I need all these people to be saved. And I was so scared for them because I realized how dangerous a lot of the stuff is that my even own friends are participating in. And all I want to do is be like, hey, you have to stop. You have to stop. Like, please stop. And I tried with a couple friends and some of my family members, and I literally got told to like F off. A couple other ones were more understanding, but they definitely thought that I was just kind of going through maybe like a moment and I just needed to like round into the information and maybe I would neutralize back out, or it was like a phase or something. But I mean, it's definitely not a phase. Like, once you see the truth, there's no going back to not seeing it. That's for sure. Right? There's adapting, but there's no going back. So fear for friends, fear for family, and just feeling like you're seeing a house on fire and you just want to go put it out. And all I wanted was to go put out that fire for people. And a lot of times I got shut down. So just having that fear for your friends, like I had so much empathy for my parents, like them watching me get into all that stuff and thinking our daughter's literally turning away from the truth. And so much empathy there. So that moves me into the next emotions, which are anger and grief. So my next phase was that I pretty much felt like someone had died. I was going through so much grief as far as feeling like a part of me had completely died, and that at this point I didn't know what the truth was. All I knew was that I had the Bible and I could pray, but other than that, I felt like I didn't know what the truth was, and I felt mad that I had been lied to. I felt upset that my life had just gotten turned upside down. And I just listened to a sermon yesterday about how God comes in and he like upsets your life. And the guy who gave the sermon was like previously a rapper, and like Jesus whispered to him like, you're a sinner. And he was like, wait, like, can I be a sinner after my next rap show? And I kind of felt the same way at first. I was like, but I like have all these plans. Like, I'd invested like $1,000 to go out to California to a retreat. And I was like, I could go knowing what I know, but I feel like it'd be almost like dangerous for me at this point to go be around tarot cards or any sort of channeling or any sort of anything that could put me out of it. Because for me, when I first came out of the New Age for at least like honestly 2 weeks, like I could not sleep because I was dealing with such a bad like spiritual attacks. And I'll get more into those, I feel like, more in another YouTube video. But this one I want to focus more on the emotions. But yeah, just the anger and the grief there. I remember just calling a friend, and she's my best friend. Like, we related on a bunch of New Age stuff. We did Reiki together, but I remember calling her and just crying like I've never cried before, as far as just like the deepest sadness that I've felt like I've ever felt in a way. Because I hadn't felt a lot of emotions in a long time when I was in the New Age. I was kind of numb in a way, just keeping myself consistently baseline numb. And so at this point, I just felt so sad. And in a way, I still feel sad. Still feel sad that, and mad that what I thought was real wasn't. And that literally my world feels like it got turned completely upside down. And right now I'm still like in the phase of where it's like newly upside down, and I'm like really having to rely on God and Jesus right now to just to know it's gonna be okay. You know, just to know that it's gonna be okay. So the next phase after grief. So grief, you feel like something just died, and it's you and it's your whole everything you've ever knew. Praise Jesus for upsetting our lives, but it's really upsetting. So the next phase is acceptance. And you're like, ugh, hands up. Okay, God, like, tell me what to do. Like, I need you. Like, what next? And in my experience, it hasn't been like a flip of a switch. So I want to just like encourage you to get that pressure off of you, get that out of your head that it's going to be overnight. You're building a relationship. This is going to be a lifelong relationship for you, and it's probably going to take some time. When I was in the New Age, I put a lot of distance between me and Jesus. So I've been working at bringing him a lot closer to me, and feeling like closer to him, as far as even feeling like I'm in contact with him when I'm praying versus just like speaking to no one in my head, if that makes sense. So yeah, acceptance. So I kind of like wandered into a church with a friend, and I was like, like I don't really know what I'm doing here. Um, I had my dad send me a church to go to, and I had the preacher pray over me to get out some of those energies that had been probably like residually around from the New Age stuff. But yeah, just acceptance where I'm like, okay, like this is what is true. And this is going to change everything. Change everything. And I just have to accept that. And it just feels like a kind of a bit of like a surrender to Jesus, and just a surrender that your life's about to drastically change and that things are different now. And during this acceptance phase, yeah, I just encourage you to find a church. I found one, and I know with COVID it's a little bit harder right now, but some churches are doing like socially distanced stuff, and churches are just great. Like if you just reach out to someone and tell them your situation and be like, hey, I need some Christian friends, they'll be sure to help you. Because I know like whenever I went to that church on the first day, the lady asked me, she was like, do you have any Christian friends? And I kind of had to think to myself, and I was like, not really. Like, not that are like actively pursuing God. And so I like have to kind of like completely rebuild that side. So it's like I just encourage you to get started. I want to caution against, for me, I found this to be what didn't work for me. I joined a group of people who had come out of the New Age and had come to Jesus, and I joined the group chat, but the group chat was just full of, it felt like another like it just felt like a lot of fear mongering around when Jesus might be coming back, and a lot of pressure to immediately be going and putting what you found out on your social media and getting everything out there. I know that what you're going through right now probably feels like a lot, and it probably feels really intense and really extreme. I just encourage you to not feel so pressured to immediately turn around and go put everything you discovered on your social media, or just feel like you have to be so scared. I just encourage you to focus right now on building relationship with Jesus, and with trying to like find people in your local community who can be like a mentor to you and show you like how this whole Christian thing and having a relationship with Jesus, that's the most important thing, is done. Like anything that just feels like over the top extreme, when you're in your fresh brand new state out of the New Age, you're like a little newborn baby that's sad and confused, and you're trying to learn how to walk. You're like a little baby deer. I'm still a baby deer. I'm such a baby deer right now. And so you want to find some big deer that can be like, okay, little deer, come this way. So yeah, focus on building that relationship with Jesus, and then focus on finding those people in your community. I mean, I'm still working on it. I really am. This is also new for me. And then the fifth emotion is just, I don't know if this is an emotion, but this is more of an action, but just daily recommitment to Jesus and to this practice, because it is so important to be in the Word, to be praying so much, because your mind has been getting programmed by the New Age for however long you've been in it. For me, it was 2.5 years of programming of why I shouldn't have a relationship with Jesus, of why Jesus is wrong, of why I'm a God myself, and why I'm so special. And it takes some time to reprogram it, so you have to be recommitting every day, even when you don't feel like it. Like, really just try to open up when you are reading the Bible, I encourage you to look up the words method of, I think that's what it is. Yes, the words method of reading the Bible. It's helped me learn how to pray. And what I do to really connect with Jesus and really connect with God. Because at first, when I first came out of the New Age, I was like, Jesus, I don't feel like I know you. Like, I don't even know how to pray to you because I don't feel like I know you. So I encourage you to read a story about Jesus in the Bible and just kind of like let yourself like be amazed at him. And then when you're praying, like I like to like really, and because we hear the word Jesus so much that it can almost sound like a word that doesn't have a lot of meaning to it, because you've just heard it your whole life. So I like to think like I'm praying to that Jesus there that I just read about, and like these are the amazing things he just did. And if I imagine myself kind of connecting to that Jesus in the Bible, it helps me really connect to then Jesus's presence there, where I feel like I can really get more into my heart and not like I'm just like talking in my head. I hope that makes sense. So just daily recommitment. I've become a coffee drinker because I feel like that's a thing that I like to do when I read my Bible. But guys, be gentle on yourself. This is like a crazy traumatic thing to have the blinds ripped off of your eyes. And I just want to say congratulations for being on this journey, and you know, we got saved. Like, how beautiful is that? And I love you, and thank you so much for watching this video. I can't wait to continue this journey with you. I'm going to be praying for you. Please pray for me because, you know, it's a journey. It's a journey. Okay, bye.